everyone, welcome back. Today I'm doing another comic book haul. So this is my third comic book haul, and from my previous two, I'm still following all those series, I guess you could call them, from my previous comic book haul. So I'll leave that link down below for you to check out. But I have 5 different series that I started that I'll just talk about in this video. So out of these 5, I am not continuing with 2 of them after the first issue, simply because it's not that it didn't interest me, I just didn't like the way it was written. So I'll get into that more. So I'll just start with those. So the first one I have is The Odyssey by Matt Fraction and Christian Ward, and I picked this up because of Matt Fraction. He does sex criminals, and I think that's amazing, so I picked this up because of it. The Odyssey, or ODYC, is a retelling of the Odyssey, the actual epic poem. So this is sort of like a futuristic retelling of the Odyssey, except the genders of each of the characters are sort of flipped, so because it's rooted in Greek mythology, so Zeus is actually a woman, etc. The parts of the Odyssey are actually written in iambic pentameter, which I found is incredibly impressive, because if you ever tried to write a sonnet, which is completely in iambic pentameter, you know how hard it is. So the writing is fantastic, and when you first open up the comic, you have I think it's like an 8-page spread. Let me try to do this without damaging it. So you have this illustration that is of like a war savage land, and then on the back of you have a very sort of concise, but not really because it's still super long, of the events that take place before the Odyssey, just to sort of kind of get you in the right place of understanding what's going on in the story. It's very dry. I had a hard time getting through it just because it's dry. I also personally have not read the Odyssey, so I don't know, it was hard for me to get into this comic book. That's why I won't be picking it up again. Not for lack of it being awful or anything, I just personally, I felt lost while reading it because I haven't read the Odyssey. But here's some of the artwork. It's incredibly psychedelic and makes you feel like you're on acid while you're reading it. So I won't be continuing this despite its crazy, fantastic artwork. The last series that I picked up that I won't be continuing is Intersect by Ray Fawkes. This is a comic that is a horror. It was described as horror, and these the Odyssey and Intersects are by Image Comics, and if you follow my channel or my comic book hauls, you'll notice that I am a big Image fangirl. So anyways, so I don't know how to explain this one because the entirety of this issue went right over my head, and I didn't like that. I felt so confused and lost and stupid while reading this comic because it is just the first issue, so it's just beginning the story, but I didn't like it, and I didn't really like the artwork. I think it's nice, but I think the artwork was trying too hard, so please ignore my dog. And then, but essentially 2 people are running and something is chasing after them, and I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. So the next series that I picked up was recently, and it was this past Wednesday, and that is Bitch Planet by DeConnick, DeLandro, Peter, and Cowles. I think I'm pronouncing those right. I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing them. But this is probably by far the most exciting comic I've picked up in quite a while. It was fantastic. This is described as Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale meets Inglourious Basterds. So I mean, how could you not pick this up? It's been getting raving reviews, so I just couldn't wait for this to come out. So I picked it up and I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic. Bitch Planet follows a planet that is called Bitch Planet, except it's a planet where a bunch of female prisoners are sent to. So it's sort of like a prison planet, but just for females. And it starts off, and you think the story is progressing a certain way, and then the author sort of kind of ripped the rug underneath the reader, and it completely changes. So here is an example of some of the artwork. I'll just show you the main page here. I will say that this comic issue is incredibly graphic, and it is for mature readers, that is for sure, because it is pretty graphic. But here is just an example of some of the artwork. This comic was just everything and more. It is almost pure perfection. So if you're looking for something, I guess, sort of feminist and comic related, Definitely pick this up. There's quite a few funny parts in here. It is mature humor, so be wary of that. Definitely head out to your nearest comic book store and pick this up. The next comic that I've recently picked up is Drifter by Ivan Brandon and Nick Klein. Drifter is sort of one of those comics that I just picked up because, once again, this is from Image Comics. It sort of follows this guy, and he falls out of the sky almost and lands on this like alien planet, and he's got to sort of go from there. I really liked it. I think the artwork is stunning. As with most comics, the artwork is absolutely amazing. Here you go. I wasn't completely wowed by this issue, but the ending was sort of a cliffhanger that definitely interested me to continue the series, so I will definitely give it, you know, maybe a few more issues. It's got sort of a Star Wars Tatooine-esque feel. The characters are definitely interesting. There's a few intriguing scenes, so I'm definitely going to continue with this for a few issues. The last series that I recently picked up is Bodies. This is published by Vertigo Comics, I think it's called. Bodies is a very interesting series, and the only reason I picked this series up is because my comic book store had like a big sale for their anniversary, and they were $1 a piece for the first like 4, so I decided to pick them up. And I was always interested into it, but by the time I realized that it was happening, they were like 4 or 5 issues in, and I was just kind of like, ah. But either way, it follows a murder in 4 different time periods, so the same type of murder is happening in 4 different time periods. So the first issue, I was incredibly disappointed, not with the actual content, but the fact that it's $3.99 and the issue is so tiny. I've never seen an issue so tiny before. But what I love about this little murder mystery kind of series is that each time period is labeled at the beginning, and each time period is drawn differently, and the colors are all different. So this one is 2004, so the present. Then you have 1890, where it's got that darker feel. You have 2050, which is obviously the future, and it's got a very like yellow, hazy kind of feel to it. And then the last time period is the 1940s, so it's got that gangster sort of feel to it. So yeah, it's really fantastic. Yeah, so those are all the issues that I recently picked up that I haven't spoke about in my last comic book haul. So if you haven't seen my last comic book haul and are interested in what I'm reading, also on top of this, definitely go check that out. It features Witches, the new big event in Spider-Verse, Sex Criminals, Wayward, a whole bunch of stuff like that, so definitely check it out. So thanks for watching. Let me know down below if you're reading any of these or you have any good recommendation for comics. Thanks for watching. Bye.